Kendra Shepherd's mother had called her too big to be seen at her sister's engagement party, but right now, standing on a stage, Kendra watched her mother's face go pale as Hyunwoo called her name. Kendra Shepherd, founder and creative director of Curvy. The applause was deafening. The spotlight was blinding, and in the back of the ballroom, her mother's eyes looked like it wanted to pop out of her socket. Her father stood frozen. Her sister's mouth hung open. The family that had uninvited her from tonight's celebration was watching her step into the spotlight at the very same hotel, in the very same moment as the designer they knew nothing about. Kendra took a breath and stepped forward. But before we get to how that moment destroyed everything her family thought they knew, we need to go back to where it started. Kendra was 12 the first time her mother said it out loud. They were in a department store dressing room. Brittany, younger and golden-skinned like their mother wanted, was trying on dresses for their cousin's wedding. Everything fit her perfectly. Size 4. Small. Easy. Kendra stood in front of the mirror in a dress that wouldn't zip past her hips. Her dark brown skin glowed under the fluorescent lights, her thick thighs and soft curves refusing to fit into the sample sizes her mother kept shoving at her. "Maybe if you ate less," Lorraine said, scrolling through her phone. "Brittany never has this problem." Kendra pulled the dress off and reached for her jeans. "The dress is too small." "The dress is normal." "For who?" Lorraine's head snapped up. "Don't start, Kendra." But Kendra had already started. She'd been starting since she was old enough to realise her mother looked at her differently, like Kendra's body, her darker skin. Her entire existence was something that needed fixing. The saleswoman came back with another dress, looked at Kendra, looked at Brittany. Her smile stayed on Brittany longer. "This should work for your sister," she said, handing Brittany a pale pink dress. Kendra didn't even get acknowledged. Lorraine took the dress. "Thank you. At least one of my daughters is easy to shop for." By 16, Kendra stopped trying to shrink. She bought her own clothes with money from her part-time job, wore what made her feel powerful. Her natural hair in braids 1 month, a twist out the next. Jeans that hugged her curves, tops that didn't apologise for her chest or her belly. Her mother hated all of it. "That's too tight," Lorraine would say. Every outfit, every choice, every attempt Kendra made to take up space. 2 years later, Kendra got her acceptance letter to Parsons School of Design, full scholarship, one of the most competitive programs in the country. She ran downstairs, breathless, waving the letter. "I got in. Parsons, full ride." Her parents were in the living room, Raymond reading the newspaper, Lorraine on her laptop working on Brittany's college applications. "That's nice," Lorraine said without looking up. "Mum, it's a full scholarship. Do you know how hard it is to get into Parsons?" Raymond folded his paper slowly. "Fashion design, right? That's not stable, Kendra. What about business school? Something with a clear career path." She stared at him. "I just got into one of the best design schools in the country, and that's all you can say." "For making clothes." He said it like it meant nothing. Like the hours she'd spent sketching and sewing meant absolutely nothing. Lorraine finally looked at her. "We're worried about your future. Fashion is competitive, and with your build, breaking into that industry might be difficult. You know how image-conscious that world is." There it was. "You're too big, too black, too much. You don't fit." Kendra folded the letter carefully. "I'm going anyway. We're not saying don't go, just have backup plans." 3 months later, Brittany got into a business program at a state school. Nothing prestigious, just safe and practical. Their parents threw her a party, rented a hall, hired a DJ, bought Brittany a laptop, designer bags. Kendra watched from the kitchen as guests congratulated Brittany, as her parents beamed, as everyone acted like Brittany had accomplished something extraordinary. She felt nothing, just emptiness where anger used to be. She moved to Brooklyn 2 weeks after graduation, got a job doing alterations at a bridal shop, but spent nights at her sewing machine designing the clothes she wished existed. Dresses that celebrated curves instead of hiding them. Pants cut for thick thighs. Blazers made for full busts and soft stomachs. Everything in colours that made her brown skin glow. She posted photos online, just her wearing what she made. Her body unapologetic in every shot. The comments came fast. Where can I buy this? You're making me feel beautiful for the first time. Within 6 months, she had an online shop. A year later, she quit alterations and designed full-time. By 25, plus-size black women flooded her comments with photos, thanking her. Fashion bloggers called her innovative. Her parents never asked about it. When Lorraine called, Kendra said she did social media for a boutique. Lorraine would say, "That's nice," and change the subject to Brittany. They didn't want to know. Kendra decided not to tell them. Her family still thought she did social media marketing for minimum wage. Then everything changed. Kendra was sketching at midnight when an email came through. She almost deleted it, but something made her open it. "Ms. Shepherd, my name is Yoon Hyun Woo. I run a manufacturing and distribution company based in Seoul. I've been following your work. Your designs are exceptional. I believe we could build something significant together. I'm in New York next week. Would you be available to meet?" She knew that name. Yoon Hyun Woo. He ran one of the largest high-end fashion manufacturing operations in Asia. They agreed to meet at a coffee shop in Manhattan 4 days later. Kendra got there first. Ordered a coffee. She'd worn one of her own pieces, a structured blazer in deep emerald green that made her skin glow, paired with high-waisted black pants that hugged every curve. She wanted him to see exactly who he was meeting. When Hyun-woo walked in, she knew it was him immediately. He was tall, well-dressed in a sweater and jeans, not flashy, but clearly expensive. He scanned the room with sharp focus. When his eyes landed on her, he stopped walking, just for a second. But she caught it. His gaze moved over her, not quick, not polite. He looked at her like he was taking in every detail, her face, her hair, the way the blazer fit her shoulders, the curve of her hips in those pants. Then his eyes came back to hers, sharper now, more focused. He walked over, didn't smile yet. "Kendra Shepherd, that's me." He sat down across from her, still hadn't ordered anything, just looked at her for a beat longer than was comfortable. "What?" she said. "I knew you'd be beautiful," he said, voice low. "Your designs made that obvious. But I wasn't prepared for this." Kendra blinked. "Prepared for what, exactly?" "You." He leaned back slightly, but his eyes didn't leave hers. "You're not what the industry expects, and that's exactly why this is going to work." She didn't know if that was a compliment or a business observation. Maybe both. "So, what do you want?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. "I want to build a brand with you." He pulled out his phone and opened a presentation. "I've been working with high-end fashion houses for years. I know production inside and out. I know distribution. I know how to scale. But I don't know how to design for the market you're reaching, and that's where you come in." "Plus-size women," Kendra said. "Women who've been ignored by the fashion industry," he corrected, his eyes still locked on hers. "Women who deserve better than what they've been given. You're already doing that, but you're doing it alone. Small batches, limited reach. What if we could scale it? Real production, real distribution, global reach, a full luxury brand." Kendra studied him. His expression was dead serious. No fake enthusiasm, no overselling. "And what do you get out of this?" she asked. His smile came slow. Dangerous, almost. A partnership with someone who's going to change the industry, and the chance to work with the most talented designer I've seen in a decade. You flatter me. I'm not trying to flatter you. I'm telling you what I see. He leaned forward. I'm not interested in being your investor, Kendra. I don't want to fund you and take a cut. I want to build this with you, equal partners. You handle creative direction and design. I handle production, operations, and distribution. She should have been suspicious. Should have asked 100 more questions. But something about the way he looked at her, like he actually saw what she was building and understood why it mattered, made her want to say yes right there. I need time to think about it, she said. Take all the time you need. He stood up and pulled a business card from his wallet. His handwriting was on the back, a personal number. But for what it's worth, I flew here specifically to meet you. I don't do that for just anyone. Kendra sat there for a while after he left, turning his card over in her hands, feeling the weight of what he'd just offered, and the way he'd looked at her, like she was something he wanted. 3 days later, she emailed him. Let's talk about the details. They spent the next 2 months building Curvy from the ground up. Hyunwoo handled manufacturing partnerships in Seoul, distribution networks across the US and Asia, supply chain logistics. Kendra focused on design, brand identity, the creative vision that would set them apart. They worked late nights, video calls that stretched past midnight, him in Seoul and her in New York. Both of them too wired to care about sleep. He asked questions about fabric weight and how it draped on different body types. He wanted to know why she chose certain cuts, certain colours. He listened when she explained that plus-size women didn't want to hide their bodies. They wanted to celebrate them. Most designers treat plus-size like it's a problem to solve, she said one night. They add fabric and call it inclusive. But that's not design. That's just making bigger versions of clothes that were never meant for us in the first place. So, what's the solution? He asked. Design for us from the start. Celebrate curves instead of working around them. Make women feel powerful, not apologetic. A week later, he told her he'd walked out of a meeting with distributors who said Curvy wouldn't sell because the market was too niche. That was a major distributor. Kendra started. I don't care. We're not working with anyone who doesn't see what you're building. We're not working with anyone who doesn't respect you. She didn't know why that made her smile. 6 weeks in, he asked about her family. They were on a video call. She was sketching. He was reviewing production timelines. Does your family know about this? He said, almost casually. She didn't look up from her sketch. Know about what? Curvy. What we're building. Not really. Why not? They're not interested. He was quiet for a few seconds. She could feel him watching her through the screen. That's hard to believe, he finally said. Believe it. Kendra. His voice was firmer now. She looked up at the camera. Yes? You're about to launch a luxury fashion brand that's going to change the industry, and your family doesn't know? My family doesn't care what I do. They never have. So, no, I didn't tell them. After that conversation, he didn't ask about her family again, but he started asking more personal questions. What she did when she wasn't working, what she loved about New York, what made her want to design in the first place. And Kendra, who had spent years keeping people at arm's length, found herself answering. She told him about the first time she made something for herself that actually fit. About walking down the street in Brooklyn, feeling beautiful for the first time in years. About the women who messaged her because they finally had clothes that made them feel seen. He listened to all of it, never interrupted, never tried to fix anything, just listened like every word mattered. Then, one night, he said something that stopped her cold. I want you to know something. His voice was low, serious. I'm not just doing this for business. I'm doing this because watching you build something this important, while the people who should be supporting you ignore you, makes me want to prove them all wrong. And I will. Hyun-woo, I mean it. By the time we're done, your name is going to be everywhere, and they're going to have to see you. The intensity in his voice should have scared her. Instead, it made her feel seen in a way she never had before. 2 months into their partnership, Hyun-woo flew back to New York to review physical samples. They met at her apartment. He showed up at 7 p.m. with fabric swatches, production specs, and samples from the factory. She had sketches and mock-ups spread across her living room floor. They worked for hours, debating cuts and colours and price points, arguing about whether a certain fabric would hold up, or if they needed to source something else. While working, they both reached for the same fabric swatch at the same time. Their hands touched. Kendra pulled back first. Sorry, don't be. His voice was rougher than usual. She looked up at him. He was closer than she'd realised. Close enough to see the way he was looking at her. Not polite, not professional. Like he wanted to close the space between them and didn't care about being appropriate anymore. Hyun-woo, she said quietly. I know. But he didn't move back. We're building something important here. I'm not going to mess that up. Then why are you looking at me like that? His smile was slow, dangerous. I think about you all the time, he said, voice low. I think about how no one in your life has ever told you how extraordinary you are, and I think about how badly I want to be the one who does. Kendra's heart was pounding, but she managed to keep herself in check. We're business partners. I know. We can't. I know. He finally stepped back, putting space between them. But his eyes didn't leave hers. But that doesn't change how I feel, and I'm not going to apologize for it. The air between them was electric. Kendra couldn't breathe. He picked up the fabric swatch like nothing had just happened. Now let's finish this collection. Because the sooner we launch, the sooner the world sees what I've been seeing for months. They went back to work, but everything had changed between them. There was something else now. An edge to every conversation. A tension that neither of them addressed, but both of them felt. He'd look at her during video calls like he was memorizing her face. He'd text her things that had nothing to do with business. He'd find excuses to fly to New York more often than necessary. And Kendra, who had sworn she wouldn't mix business with anything else, found herself looking forward to those calls, those texts, those moments when he looked at her like she was the only person in the world who mattered. One night, he sent her a message at 2 a.m., her time. Can't sleep. Too excited about the next collection. She smiled and typed back, same. His response came immediately. We're going to change everything. You know that, right? She stared at those words for a long time, then typed, I know. Another message. And when we do, I'm going to make sure everyone who ever doubted you regrets it. She screenshotted it and saved it to her photos. The next morning, her phone buzzed, but this time it wasn't Hyun-woo. It was her mother. Call me when you can. Brittany has news. The next morning, her phone buzzed, but this time it wasn't Hyun-woo. It was her mother. Call me when you can. Brittany has news. Kendra stared at her mother's text for a while before calling back. Kendra, hi. You said Brittany has news. She's engaged. Lorraine's voice was bright. Jeremy proposed. It was very romantic. Kendra sat down on her couch. That's great. Tell her, congratulations for me, Mom. You can tell her yourself. She's right here. Some shuffling. Then Brittany's voice. Hey, Kendra. Congrats, Britt. I'm happy for you. Thanks. Brittany sounded genuinely pleased. It was so unexpected. He had the whole restaurant involved. There were flowers everywhere. Sounds beautiful. It was. Mum and Dad are already planning the engagement party. It's going to be huge. That's nice. Okay. Mum wants the phone back. Love you. Love you too. Lorraine came back on. We're thinking next month for the party. Jeremy's family wants to meet everyone. His father has connections all over the city. This is a big opportunity for Brittany. I'm sure it'll be great, Mom. We'll send you details once we finalise everything. I have to go. We're meeting with the event planner in an hour. The line went dead. Kendra set her phone down and stared at the wall. Her little sister was getting married. She was excited. She texted Hyunwoo, "My sister just got engaged." His response came fast. "Congratulations to her. I'm happy for her. My parents are already planning some big engagement party. I'd like to meet your family someday." Kendra stared at that message. Her chest went warm. Maybe someday. I'm serious. I want to meet the people who raised someone like you, even if they don't appreciate what they have. She didn't know what to say to that, so she sent a heart emoji and changed the subject. Over the next weeks, every family dinner became about the engagement party. Kendra showed up to her parents' house on a Sunday afternoon, expecting a normal meal. Instead, she walked into chaos. Lorraine had fabric samples spread across the dining table. Brittany was on her laptop looking at centerpieces. Raymond was on the phone with someone about catering. "Kendra, you're here." Lorraine barely looked up. "What do you think, ivory or champagne for the tablecloths?" "Champagne is more elegant," Brittany said, scrolling through photos. "Jeremy's mum loves elegance." "Champagne it is, then." Lorraine made a note. "Raymond, did you confirm the venue?" "Confirmed," Raymond said, hanging up his phone. "They're holding the date for us." Kendra sat down at the kitchen counter. "Where's the party going to be?" "We're still finalising details," Lorraine said quickly. "We'll let you know once everything's set. We need to finalise the guest list," Lorraine continued, turning back to her tablet. "His father's business partners are coming," Brittany added, "and some people from his firm. These are important people, Mom." "I know." Lorraine was making lists, which is why everything has to be perfect. First impressions matter. Kendra reached for a glass of water. "Need any help with anything?" "We're good," Lorraine said without looking at her. "This is pretty much handled. Brittany, what about flowers?" They talked for another hour. Seating arrangements, menu options, whether to have a live band or a DJ. Kendra sat there the entire time and didn't say a word. Nobody asked her opinion. Nobody included her in the planning. When dinner was finally ready, they sat down at the table. "This is so exciting," Lorraine said, passing the salad. "Jeremy's family is very well connected. This could open so many doors for you, Brittany." "His father knows everyone in the city," Raymond added. "This is exactly the kind of family we hoped you'd marry into." Brittany smiled. "He's great. I'm really lucky." "We're all lucky," Lorraine said. Then she glanced at Kendra. "How's your work going?" "Good." "Still doing that social media thing?" Kendra took a bite of chicken. "Something like that." "Well, that's nice." Lorraine turned back to Brittany. "So, tell us more about Jeremy's parents. What does his mother do?" The conversation moved on. Kendra finished her dinner in silence. When she left that night, nobody even noticed her leaving. 3 days later, Kendra was on a video call with Hyunwoo going over production schedules when she mentioned the party. "It's next month. My parents are going all out. Sounds like it's going to be huge." Hyunwoo looked up from his notes. "Where's it going to be?" "I don't know yet. They said they're still finalising details." "They haven't told you the venue?" Kendra shrugged. "They're probably still deciding. My mum's very particular about these things." He studied her through the screen. You don't sound excited about it. I am. I'm happy for Brittany. The party stuff just isn't really my thing. His smile was slow. That's fair. The next week, Kendra went to her parents' house for another Sunday dinner. She got there early, let herself in with her key, heard voices coming from her father's office, her parents, talking. She was about to announce herself when she heard her name. We need to talk about Kendra and the party. Kendra froze in the hallway. What about her? Raymond asked. I don't think she should come. Silence. Kendra's heart started pounding. Lorraine, hear me out. Look at her, Ray. Look at how she dresses, how she looks. Jeremy's colleagues are going to be there. His parents. People who matter. We can't have her there making us look bad. She's our daughter. I know that. But this is Brittany's night. Her future. We get one shot at making a good impression with Jeremy's family. One shot. And if Kendra shows up looking like she always does, taking up space, making people uncomfortable, you really think she'd make people uncomfortable? I think she doesn't fit in with that crowd. You know she doesn't. She never has. Remember that charity gala Mr. Peterson invited us to? The way people looked at her? Kendra closed her eyes. She remembered. She'd worn a dress she made herself, celebrated her curves. Her mother had pulled her aside and told her she looked inappropriate. So, what do you want to do? Raymond asked quietly. I've been thinking about it. What if we just don't tell her where it is? What? We give her the wrong information, wrong venue, maybe even wrong date. She shows up somewhere else, realises it's not happening, and by the time she figures it out, the party's over. Silence. That's cruel, Lorraine. Is it? Or is it protecting Brittany's future? We can apologise later. Say there was a miscommunication. She'll be upset for a while, but she'll get over it. Brittany's marriage is more important. More silence. Then Raymond sighed. How would we even do that? We tell her the party got moved to a different hotel. Something in Brooklyn, maybe. Somewhere far enough that by the time she realises, it'll be too late. We'll say we texted her the wrong information by accident. She'll never know we did it on purpose. Kendra stood in that hallway and felt something inside her turn to ice. I don't know, Lorraine. This feels wrong. What feels wrong is risking Brittany's entire future because we're too afraid to make a hard choice. Jeremy's family has standards. They have expectations, and Kendra doesn't meet them. That's not our fault. That's just reality. When are you planning to tell her? Next week. I'll call her, give her the fake information, make it sound natural. She won't suspect anything. Raymond was quiet for a long moment. Fine. Do what you think is best. I am. For Brittany. Kendra turned around and walked out the front door as quietly as she'd come in. She sat in her car for 10 minutes, hands shaking, chest tight. Then she drove home. That night, she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. They were going to lie to her, send her to the wrong place, let her show up like a fool while they celebrated without her. Not because of space, not because of logistics, because they were ashamed of her. She texted Hyun-woo, "Can you call me, or are you busy?" Her phone rang. "Hey," he said, "what's wrong?" "What makes you think something's wrong?" "Because I know you." "What happened?" Kendra took a breath. "I overheard my parents today. They're planning to give me the wrong information about Brittany's engagement party. Wrong venue. They want me to show up at the wrong place, so I'm not at the real party." "What?" "They don't want me there. They think I'll embarrass them, so instead of just uninviting me, they're going to send me somewhere else and pretend it was a miscommunication." "Kendra?" "They said I don't fit in with Jeremy's family, that I make people uncomfortable, that Brittany's future is more important than me being there. They're planning to humiliate you." "Yeah." "Their own daughter?" "Yeah." More silence. Then, where are you right now? Home. I'm coming to New York tomorrow morning at the latest. You don't have to do that. Yes, I do. His voice was firm, steel underneath. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve any of this. And I'm not going to sit in Seoul and pretend it's okay. I'm fine. Really, you're not fine. And that's okay. But you're not doing this alone. Tears were burning behind Kendra's eyes. Hyun-woo, let me be there for you, please. She pressed her hand to her mouth, nodded even though he couldn't see her. Okay. His voice softened slightly. I'll text you my flight details. I'll be there tomorrow. Thank you. Don't thank me. This is what people who care about you do. They show up, even when no one else does. After they hung up, Kendra sat in the dark and let herself cry. Not because she was surprised, but because some part of her had still hoped they'd choose her. Just once. The next morning, Hyun-woo texted her his flight information. He'd be landing at JFK at 2 p.m. Kendra picked him up from the airport, watched him walk through arrivals, and she realized she had missed him. When he saw her, his whole face changed. He walked straight to her and pulled her into a hug without saying a word. Kendra buried her face in his chest and breathed. I'm here, he said quietly. I've got you. They went back to her apartment. He dropped his bag by the door and sat next to her on the couch. Tell me everything, he said. So she did. The conversation she'd overheard. Her mother's plan. The way her father had just agreed without much of a fight. Hyun-woo listened to all of it. His jaw got tighter with every sentence. They don't deserve you, he said when she finished. They're my family. That doesn't mean they get to treat you like this. He turned to face her fully. You've built something incredible. You're talented and brilliant, and you've done it all without them. And instead of celebrating you, they're planning to humiliate you. That says everything about them and nothing about you. I know that, but it still hurts. Yeah. He reached for her hand. I meant what I said last night. You're not doing this alone anymore. Whatever happens with your family, whatever they do, I'm here. You have me. Kendra looked at their hands. His fingers laced through hers. But I hate that Brittany's going to think I didn't show up because I didn't care. Then we'll make sure she knows the truth. Kendra nodded. In the meantime, Hyun-woo said, squeezing her hand, we focus on Curvy. We focus on what you're building. We focus on making sure the world sees exactly who you are. Okay. He pulled her closer. Now let's order food and talk about anything except your family. They spent the rest of the night on her couch, eating takeout, watching bad movies, him making her laugh when she didn't think she could. And when he left the next morning to catch his flight back to Seoul, he kissed her forehead at the door. I'll see you soon, he said. 1 week later, Lorraine called. Kendra answered on the third ring. Hi, Mom. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? I'm all right. That's good. Listen, I wanted to give you the details for Brittany's engagement party. Here it comes. It's next month, the 15th, 6 p.m. Kendra grabbed a pen. Okay. The venue is Glassmark Hotel in Brooklyn. Do you know it? I don't think so. It's beautiful, very elegant. I'll text you the address. It's a bit of a drive, so make sure you leave early. Okay. Thanks for letting me know. Of course. The line went dead. Kendra stared at her phone. At the address, her mother texted seconds later. Glassmark Hotel. A lie. 2 days later, Hyun-woo called with news. The showcase is scheduled. Kendra sat up straighter. When? Next month. The Blackwood Hotel in Manhattan. It's one of the most prestigious event venues in the city. Everyone who's anyone books there for major launches. We got the main ballroom. That's amazing. When? The 15th. Kendra went still. The 15th? Yeah. Is that a problem? No. That's the same night as Brittany's engagement party. Oh. He paused. Do you want me to change it? I can call them... No. Her voice was firm. Don't change it. You're sure? I'm sure. She took a breath. My parents lied to me about where the party is. They're sending me to Brooklyn, but I'm not going. So the 15th works perfectly. Let's do the showcase exactly as planned. What's the venue called? The Blackwood Hotel. Kendra wrote it down. Never heard of it. It's one of the best in Manhattan. This is going to be huge, Kendra. Good. Let's make it unforgettable. After they hung up, Kendra sat on her couch and stared at the dates on her calendar. Same night. Her family's party somewhere in Manhattan. Her showcase, they'd told her she didn't fit, that she'd embarrass them. But in 3 weeks, she was going to stand on a stage and show the world exactly who she was, and whatever happened after that was on them. If you've stayed with me this far, you already know Kendra's done playing their game. She knows they lied. She knows they tried to humiliate her, and she's chosen to build her empire instead of begging for their approval. Here's what I want to know. Have you ever outgrown your family's opinion of you, where they still see the person they decided you were, but you've already become someone completely different? Drop a comment. Tell me your story. Hit like if you're ready to see what happens when Kendra takes control. And subscribe because what's coming next is going to change everything. Now, let's get back to the story. Curvy's pre-orders were exploding. Every time Kendra refreshed the dashboard, the numbers climbed. Thousands of orders. Plus-size black women across the country were flooding social media with photos of themselves in Curvy pieces. Fashion blogs were calling it a movement. Major publications were requesting interviews. Buyers from department stores were reaching out wanting to carry the line. And through all of it, Hyun-woo was there. He flew to New York a lot during the planning. You didn't have to come all this way, Kendra said when he showed up at her apartment on a Tuesday night with Mexican food. I wanted to. He set the bags on her counter. How are you holding up? I'm fine. He looked at her. Kendra? I'm nervous and excited and terrified all at the same time. That's normal, is it? You're about to introduce the world to something you built from nothing. That's terrifying, but you're ready for this. You've been ready. She wanted to believe him. They ate on her couch, went over the final details for the showcase. The lineup, the models, the order of the collection. Every piece had been chosen carefully, every cut, every colour, every design meant to celebrate the women who'd been ignored for too long. The venue confirmed everything, Hyun-woo said, scrolling through his phone. The venue is ready, stage is set, lighting is perfect, press list is at capacity. Kendra's stomach flipped. Hey! He set his phone down and turned to face her. You're going to be incredible. You know that, right? I hope so. I know so. His hand found hers. I've watched you build this. I've seen how hard you work, how much you care. The world is about to see it too. She squeezed his fingers. Thank you for building this with me, for believing in me when no one else did. Always. They sat like that for a while, his thumb tracing circles on the back of her hand, the TV playing something neither of them was watching. 1 week, he said quietly. 1 week. 5 days before the showcase, Kendra called Brittany. Hey! Brittany's voice was distracted. Hey, Britt, how are you? Busy. The party's in 5 days and we're still finalising everything. Right. The party. Kendra kept her voice casual. Mum sent me the address, the Glassmark Hotel in Brooklyn. Silence on the other end. Then, yeah, that's the place. I looked it up. Looks beautiful. It is. Brittany's voice was tight now. Must be expensive. Dad wants everything perfect. A pause. Listen, I have to go. The florist is calling me back. Okay, Kendra said quietly. Have a great party. I will. Love you. The line went dead before Kendra could respond. Kendra sat there holding her phone. Brittany had confirmed the lie without hesitation, had said, I love you, while sending her to the wrong place. Her little sister had chosen them over her and hadn't even sounded sorry about it. Kendra set her phone down and stared at the wall. She was alone in this so-called family. That night, Hyunwoo called. You sound off, he said. What happened? I talked to Brittany today. And? She lied to my face, confirmed the fake address like it was nothing, said she loved me and hung up. Hyunwoo was quiet for a moment. I'm shocked your sister would do that. You and me both, she replied. Kendra, I'm sorry. Don't be. It's all right. I just thought maybe she'd be different. That blood would mean something. It should mean something. She should be standing up for you. Kendra laughed, but it came out hollow. Nobody's standing up for me. That's the point. I'm on my own. No. His voice was firm, sharp. You're not on your own. You have me. And in 5 days, you're going to stand on that stage and show the world exactly what you've built. She closed her eyes. Promise you will be with me. I promise. His voice softened. After Friday night, everything changes. 2 days before the showcase, Hyunwoo flew back to New York. They met at her apartment to go over final details. He showed up at 8 p.m. with his laptop and a bottle of wine. Thought we could use this, he said, holding up the bottle. They worked for hours, going through the presentation, the talking, points, the designer reveal moment. Everything had to be perfect. Around midnight, Kendra stood up to stretch, walked to her window and looked out at the city lights. Hyunwoo came up behind her, not touching, but close enough that she could feel his presence. You're quiet, he said, just thinking about everything. How different my life was a year ago. How different it's going to be after Friday. Scared? He asked. Terrified is more like it. She replied. He was quiet for a moment. Then, I told you once that I think about you all the time. That hasn't changed. Kendra turned to face him. He was closer than she'd realized. Hyunwoo, I know. We're business partners. We're building something important. But after Friday, after the showcase, I'm not going to be able to pretend that I don't want more than this, that I haven't wanted it since the day I met you. The air between them was electric. We can't. I know. But he didn't move back. Not yet. Not until after Friday. But I need you to know that when this is over, when Curvy is launched and the world knows your name, I'm not walking away. I'm not going back to Seoul and pretending this is just business. What are you saying? I'm saying, I want you. All of you. Not just the designer, not just the partner, you. Kendra couldn't breathe. His hand came up slowly, cupped her face. His thumb traced her cheekbone. But right now, he said quietly, we focus on Friday. We focus on showing them what you've built. And then after. His smile was slow, dangerous. After, you're mine. He dropped his hand and stepped back. Picked up his laptop. Let's go through the lane-up one more time. Kendra stood there for a full 10 seconds before she could move. Friday morning arrived cold and bright. Kendra woke up at 6 a.m. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Just sat on her couch, staring at the outfit she'd laid out the night before. A dress she'd designed specifically for tonight, cut to celebrate every curve. The kind of dress that made her feel powerful. Her phone buzzed. A text from Hyunwoo. How are you feeling? She typed back. So nervous. Good. That means it matters. I'll see you at the hotel. You've got this. She stared at that message for a long time. The day passed in a blur. Took a long shower, did her hair, her makeup, put on the dress, stood in front of her mirror and looked at herself. Dark brown skin, glowing, natural hair in a twist out that framed her face. The dress hugging her curves exactly the way she'd designed it to. She looked powerful. She looked beautiful. She looked like someone who'd built an empire while her family tried to tear her down. Her phone buzzed again. Hyunwoo. Car's outside whenever you're ready. Kendra grabbed her bag, took one last look in the mirror. You've got this, she whispered to herself. Then she walked out the door. The Blackwood Hotel was even more beautiful than the photos. Kendra walked through the main entrance and followed the signs to the ballroom. Staff members were everywhere, setting up chairs, adjusting lighting, testing sound. She made her way backstage. The area was organised chaos, models getting ready, makeup artists working, racks of curver pieces lined up perfectly, and in the middle of it all, Hyunwoo. He saw her and stopped mid-sentence and stared at her. Then he walked over. Didn't say anything. What's wrong? Do I have something on my face? She asked. You look... He stopped, started again. You look incredible. The dress right. I'm not talking about the dress, Kendra. His eyes moved over her face, down to the dress. Back up. You ready? She looked out toward the stage, could hear the crowd gathering, could feel the energy building. I'm ready. Then let's do this. He squeezed her hand once, then let go. Across the hotel, in a different ballroom on the 3rd floor, the Shepherd family were arriving. Lorraine stepped out of the car in an expensive red dress. Raymond behind her in a tailored suit. Brittany and Jeremy right after, both of them glowing. This is beautiful, Lorraine said, looking up at the hotel facade. Brittany, you're going to love the ballroom. The event coordinator sent me photos yesterday. I can't wait to see it, Brittany said, holding Jeremy's hand. They walked through the main entrance, followed signs to the 3rd floor ballroom, passed by the main ballroom on the ground floor without even glancing at it, had no idea what was happening just a few feet away, had no idea that in 30 minutes their daughter was about to step onto a stage, had no idea that everything they thought they knew was about to shatter. Backstage, Kendra took a deep breath. The showcase was about to start. She could hear the crowd through the curtains, voices blending together, phones clicking, the energy building. 5 minutes, a stage manager said, walking past with a headset. Kendra's hands were shaking. She pressed them against her dress, tried to steady her breathing. Hyunwoo appeared beside her. Hey. She looked at him. Hey, how are you feeling? Like I'm about to throw up. He smiled. That's normal. Is it? I threw up before my first major presentation, right in the bathroom. I had to rinse my mouth out and go back on stage like nothing happened. She laughed despite herself. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Maybe. Did it work? A little bit. She smiled. He reached for her hand, squeezed it. You're going to be amazing. Just remember why you built this. Remember who you built it for. She nodded. I'm going out there in 2 minutes to introduce you. When you hear your name, you walk out. That's it. Just walk out and let them see you. Okay, Kendra. He waited until she looked at him. I'm proud of you. No matter what happens tonight, I'm proud of you. Her chest went tight. Then he let go of her hand and walked toward the stage entrance. Kendra stood there watching him disappear through the curtain. The lights in the ballroom dimmed. The crowd went quiet. Then Hyunwoo's voice filled the space. Good evening. Thank you all for being here tonight. Kendra moved closer to the curtain, peeked through the gap. The ballroom was packed. Every seat filled. People standing along the walls. Cameras everywhere. For the past year, Hyun-woo continued, I've had the privilege of working with a designer who sees fashion differently, who doesn't design for an industry, who designs for women, real women. Women with curves, women with power, women who've spent their entire lives being told they don't belong in spaces like this. The crowd was listening, leaning forward. Tonight, you're going to meet her. You're going to see a collection that celebrates everything the fashion industry has tried to ignore. And I promise you, by the end of this night, you're going to understand why Curvy isn't just a brand. It's a movement. Applause rippled through the room. Kendra's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. Upstairs, on the 3rd floor, the Shepherd engagement party was in full swing. Lorraine stood near the champagne fountain talking to Jeremy's mother. Raymond was shaking hands with Jeremy's father. Brittany and Jeremy were posing for photos near the floral backdrop. Everything was perfect. This is beautiful, Lorraine. Marissa, Jeremy's mother, said, You've really outdone yourself. Thank you. We wanted tonight to be special. It is. Howard was just saying how impressed he is with your family. Lorraine beamed. We're so happy to have Jeremy joining us. One of the hotel staff walked by, carrying a tray of champagne. Another staff member stopped him. Have you seen the showcase downstairs? The first one said. The Curvy thing? Yeah, it's packed. Standing room only. I heard it's some big fashion designer reveal. Press. Everywhere. Should be wrapping up soon. They're just starting the presentation now. Marissa turned to Lorraine. There's another event here tonight. The hotel mentioned it when we booked. Lorraine said dismissively. Some fashion thing. The Blackwood hosts multiple events every weekend. That's why it's so hard to get. Fashion? Brittany had walked over, overheard. What kind of fashion? Some new brand, I think, the staff member said. Curvy. It's all over social media already. People are calling it revolutionary. Brittany pulled out her phone. Typed Curvy. Her feed filled with posts, photos of models in stunning pieces, plus-size women in designs that celebrated their curves, tags everywhere, thousands of likes, hundreds of comments. This looks incredible, Brittany said, showing Jeremy. It does, Jeremy agreed. I've heard of this brand. My assistant was trying to order from them last month. Everything sold out in hours. Marissa leaned in to look. That's beautiful work. Is the designer here tonight? Apparently, the staff member said. They're revealing who they are right now. Big moment. How fun, Marissa said. Lorraine, would it be terribly rude if we snuck down to take a quick look? I love discovering new designers. Lorraine hesitated. I suppose we could. Just for a moment. Let's go, Brittany said, already heading toward the door. I want to see this. A small group started forming. Marissa, Brittany, Jeremy, a few of Jeremy's colleagues who'd overheard and were curious. Lorraine and Raymond followed, not wanting to seem uninterested in what Jeremy's family found exciting. They took the elevator down, followed the sound of voices and music to the main ballroom. The doors were open. The crowd inside was massive, but there was space along the back wall where people were standing. The Shepherd family slipped in quietly, stood near the rear, tried to see the stage through the crowd. Hyun-woo was still, speaking. This designer didn't wait for permission to exist, he said. She didn't wait for the industry to make space for her. She made her own space. She built her own brand, and tonight, she's here to show you what happens when someone refuses to shrink. The crowd applauded again. Lorraine craned her neck, trying to see the stage. Who is he talking about? I don't know, Raymond said, but this is quite a turnout. Brittany was staring at the stage. Something about the setup, the way Hyun-woo was speaking. It felt familiar somehow, but she couldn't place it. On stage, Hyun-woo paused, looked toward the curtain. I could talk about her work all night, but I think it's better if you meet her yourself. He smiled. "Ladies and gentlemen, the founder and creative director of Curvy." The crowd leaned forward. Backstage, Kendra heard her name coming. Her heart stopped. This was it. Hyunwoo's voice filled the ballroom. Kendra Shepherd. The spotlight hit Kendra. Before she even stepped through the curtain, she heard her name echo through the ballroom, heard the applause starting, felt her legs moving even though her brain hadn't fully caught up. Then she was walking out onto the stage, into the light. The crowd was a blur at first. Faces and phones and flashing cameras, 300 people all turning to look at her. She stopped centre stage, took a breath, let them see her. The applause grew louder. At the back of the ballroom, Lorraine's champagne glass slipped from her hand, the sound cutting through the noise. People nearby turned to look. Lorraine didn't notice. She was staring at the stage, at the woman in the dress. Her daughter. That's... Lorraine couldn't finish the sentence. Raymond stood frozen beside her. His face had gone completely white. "That's Kendra," Brittany whispered. Marissa looked between them, confused. "You know her?" Nobody answered. On stage, Kendra stood under the lights and felt everything shift into focus. She could see them now, at the back. Her parents looking like they'd seen a ghost. Her sister's mouth was hanging open. What were they doing here? She thought to herself. Hyunwoo was standing to the side of the stage, watching her, waiting. Kendra stepped forward and took the microphone from the stand. "Thank you," she said. Her voice came out steadier than she felt. "Thank you all for being here tonight." The applause settled. The room went quiet. "My name is Kendra Shepherd. I'm the founder and creative director of Curvy, and for the past year, I've been building something I wish had existed when I was younger." She looked out at the crowd, at the press in the front row, at the buyers taking notes, at the plus-size women scattered throughout the audience who were already nodding. "I grew up being told my body was a problem, that I took up too much space, that I needed to shrink, be smaller, be quieter, be less visible." She paused, and for a long time, I believed that. In the back, Lorraine grabbed Raymond's arm. "But then I realised something," Kendra continued. "The problem was never my body. The problem was a world that didn't know what to do with women who refused to disappear." The crowd was completely silent now, leaning forward, listening. "Curvy exists because I got tired of waiting for permission to take up space. I got tired of designing myself smaller to make other people comfortable. I got tired of apologizing for existing exactly as I am." She could feel her voice getting stronger, more certain. "Every piece in this collection was designed for women who've been told they're too much, too big, too visible, too powerful." She looked directly at the back of the room, at her family. "We're not too much. We've always been exactly enough. The world just wasn't ready for us." Applause erupted. Not polite, not obligatory, real. People were standing. Cameras were flashing everywhere. Kendra stood there and let it wash over her. Curvy isn't just a brand, it's a refusal. A refusal to shrink, a refusal to apologize, a refusal to let anyone tell us we don't belong. She smiled. Because we do belong, everywhere, in every room, on every stage, and we're done asking for permission. The crowd was on their feet now. The applause was deafening. Kendra looked at Hyunwoo. He was watching her with something that looked like pride and hunger and certainty all mixed together. Then she looked back at her family. Her mother's face was pale. Her father looked like he wanted to disappear. Kendra handed the microphone back to Hyunwoo and walked off stage. The backstage was chaotic. The press surrounded her immediately, questions coming from every direction, cameras flashing, people congratulating her. Her phone was exploding with notifications. A journalist pushed forward. "Kendra, that speech was incredible. Can we schedule an interview?" "My assistant will reach out," Kendra said, even though she didn't have an assistant. Another reporter. "Is it true Curvy sold out in under 2 hours last month?" 3 hours, Kendra corrected. "But yes." Someone else. "What's next for the brand?" Before she could answer, Hyunwoo appeared beside her. His hand found the small of her back. Protective. Possessive. "Ms. Shepherd needs a moment, people," he said firmly. "We'll have a formal press availability soon." He guided her away from the crowd, through a side door, into a quiet hallway. Kendra leaned against the wall and finally let herself breathe. "You did really well. That was amazing," Hyunwoo said. "I almost threw up walking out there. The important thing is that you didn't. We would be trending for a different reason." Kendra leaned her head back against the wall. "They were there." He went still. "What?" "My parents, my sister. They were in the audience, at the back." "Are you sure?" "I'm sure." She laughed, but it came out hollow. "They are supposed to be at the engagement party. What are they doing here?" His jaw tightened. Maybe they heard about the showcase. Maybe. "Good." His hand came up to cup her face. "I told you, they'd regret it." Before Kendra could respond, voices echoed down the hallway. "Kendra!" Her mother's voice, sharp and desperate. Kendra straightened. Hyunwoo's hand dropped, but he didn't move away. Lorraine appeared around the corner, Raymond and Brittany right behind her. They stopped when they saw her, like they weren't sure if they were allowed to come closer. "Kendra," Lorraine said again, softer this time. "We had no idea. We didn't know that it was me." Kendra's voice was calm, cold. "Or that I was capable of this." Lorraine flinched. "Both. Neither. We're so shocked." "Shocked," Kendra repeated. Raymond stepped forward. "Sweetheart, this is incredible. What you've built. We had no idea you were doing something this big." "You never asked. We thought you were doing social media." "Because that's what I told you. Because every time I tried to tell you the truth, you changed the subject." Kendra tilted her head. "But wait. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in Brooklyn, at the Glassmark? That's where you told me the party was, right?" Silence. "Unless..." Kendra's voice was cold. "Unless that was a lie, unless you gave me a fake address on purpose." Lorraine's face went pale. "Kendra, I heard you, Mum, so save yourself. That day at the house, I heard you planning it. Let's give her the wrong address. She'll show up somewhere else, and by the time she figures it out, the party will be over." Kendra looked at each of them. "You didn't just uninvite me. You planned to humiliate me." Raymond looked at the floor. "So, yeah," Kendra continued. I knew you lied. I just didn't know the real party was here, at the same hotel where I was launching Curvy." "That part," she laughed bitterly, "that was just fate making sure you couldn't escape it." "Kendra, please," Lorraine's voice broke. "We made a terrible mistake. A mistake is forgetting to call. A mistake is double booking something." Kendra's voice stayed steady. "What you did was deliberate. You sat down and planned how to make sure I wouldn't be there, how to keep me away from your perfect night." "We were wrong," Raymond started. "You were ashamed of me." Kendra cut him off. "Let's just say it. You were ashamed of your own daughter, of how I look, of who I am, and instead of just being honest about it, you lied." Brittany stepped forward, tears streaming down her face. "Kendra, I'm so sorry. I should have told you the truth. I don't know what came over me. But you didn't." Kendra looked at her sister. You confirmed the fake address when I called you. You said, I love you, and hung up, knowing I'd show up at the wrong place while you celebrated here. I was scared. Of what? Of them being disappointed in you? Of not having the perfect party? Kendra shook her head. I would have fought for you, Britt. If they ever tried to do this to you, I would have fought. But you couldn't even tell me the truth. I know, Brittany sobbed. I know I messed up. I'm so sorry. Kendra's voice softened slightly. You're my sister. That still means something to me, but you chose them over me when it mattered. So if you want us to be okay again, you're going to have to prove it. Not with words, with action. Lorraine tried again, her voice desperate. Kendra, we're your family. We love you. Family doesn't do what you did. Kendra's voice was firm. Family doesn't plan to humiliate their own daughter because she doesn't fit their image. We didn't mean to make you feel that way, Lorraine said. Yes, you did. Maybe not consciously, but every comment about my body, every time you compare me to Brittany, every time you dismissed what I was doing, you meant it. Kendra took a breath, and tonight was supposed to be the final humiliation. The moment you got rid of me for good. No, but here's what you didn't realize. Kendra stood straighter. I didn't need you. I haven't needed you for a long time. I built this without you. I built this despite you. And now the whole world knows my name, Lorraine said. Please, we're so sorry. We'll do better. I don't want your apologies. Kendra's voice was quiet, but firm. I don't want your pride now that it's convenient. I don't want you to suddenly care because other people think I'm worth something. Kendra, I'm done shrinking for you. I'm done begging for scraps of approval. I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt. She looked at each of them. You chose to exclude me. You chose to lie to me. You chose yourselves over me. And now I'm choosing me. What does that mean? Raymond asked quietly. It means I'm not doing this anymore. The family dinners where I'm invisible, the holidays where I'm an afterthought, the constant feeling that I'm not good enough for you. Kendra's voice didn't waver. I'm not cutting you off forever, but I'm setting boundaries, and if you can't respect them, then we're done. What kind of boundaries? Lorraine whispered. No comments about my body, ever. No comparing me to anyone. No dismissing my work. No acting like I'm a burden or an embarrassment. Kendra paused. And if you want to be in my life, you earn it. You show up. You ask questions. You actually care. Not because I'm successful now, but because I'm your daughter, and I always deserved that. Brittany nodded through her tears. Okay, I'll do that. I promise. Lorraine just stood there crying. Kendra looked at them for a long moment. Then she turned to Hyunwoo. I'm ready to go. He nodded, took her hand. Then they walked away, left her family standing in that hallway, watching her leave. For once, Kendra didn't look back. 2 hours later, the hotel lobby had finally emptied out. Kendra sat on a chair near the windows, still in her dress, exhausted, but wired. The showcase had been a success beyond anything she'd imagined. Orders were already flooding in. Her phone had 17 voicemails from the press. 3 different investors had reached out wanting meetings, but all she could think about was her family's faces in that hallway. Footsteps approached. She looked up. Hyunwoo. He'd changed out of his suit jacket, sleeves rolled up, tie gone. I thought you left, she said. Without you? Never. He sat down beside her. How are you feeling? I don't know. Relieved? Sad? Angry? All of it? That's fair. They sat in silence for a minute, watching the late-night traffic through the windows. I meant what I said earlier. Hyunwoo said quietly. After tonight, everything changes. Kendra looked at him. What does that mean? It means I'm not going back to Seoul. Not long term. He turned to face her fully. I'm staying here, in New York, with you. Her breath caught. Hyun-woo! I told you I wanted you. All of you. I meant it. His hand found hers. I'm not interested in a business partnership that ends when the workday does. I'm not interested in video calls and flights and pretending this is casual. What are you interested in? You. Us. Building something real. He moved closer. I want to wake up next to you. I want to fight with you about fabric suppliers. I want to celebrate every win and fix every problem. I want all of it. Kendra's heart was pounding. That's a big decision. I know. I've been thinking about it for months. His thumb traced circles on the back of her hand. Tonight just confirmed what I already knew. You're it for me, Kendra. There's no going back from this. What about your company? I can run it from anywhere. I've been doing it from New York half the time anyway. He smiled. Besides, Curvy's about to explode. You're going to need me here. She laughed despite herself, pretty confident. About Curvy? Yes. About you? His expression got serious. I've never been more certain of anything. Kendra looked at him, at the way he was watching her. I'm scared, she admitted. Of what? That this is too good, that I'm going to mess it up, that you'll realise I'm not worth... He kissed her, pulled her close, his hand cupping her face. When they broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers. You're worth everything, he said quietly. And I'm going to spend however long it takes proving that to you. Hyun-woo, I love you. The words came out firm, certain. I've loved you since the day I met you. She'd spent so long being told she wasn't enough. And here was someone who looked at her like she was everything. I love you, she said. Not because he said it first, but because it was true, because she'd been feeling it for months and was finally brave enough to say it. So, he said, where do we start? With Curvy, Kendra said. We have 17 meetings next week. After that, we build our life. Together. Together, he repeated, like he was testing the word, liking the way it sounded. They sat there for a while, his arm around her, her head on his shoulder, watching the city through the windows. For the first time in her life, Kendra wasn't thinking about her family's approval, wasn't wondering if she was enough, wasn't trying to shrink herself to fit someone else's idea of who she should be. She was just here, in this moment, with someone who saw her exactly as she was and loved every part of it. She'd deal with her family eventually. Maybe they'd figure it out. Maybe they wouldn't. But that wasn't her problem to fix anymore. Right now, she had an empire to build, a man who loved her, and a future that was finally, completely hers. She looked up at Hyun-woo. Take me home. Your place or mine? Ours, she said. We'll figure out which one later. He stood, pulled her up with him, kept her hand in his as they walked toward the exit. Behind them, the hotel stood quiet, the ballroom empty now, the stage dark, but somewhere in that building, Kendra's name was still echoing. Her face was still on people's phones. Her words were still being quoted. She'd walked onto that stage as the daughter her family was ashamed of. She'd walked off as someone the whole world wanted to know. And as she stepped out into the New York night, with Hyun-woo's hand in hers, Kendra realized something she should have known all along. She'd never needed them to see her worth. She just needed to see it herself. The end. If you made it this far, thank you for being here. That feeling of being the one they're ashamed of hurts. Maybe not the exact situation, maybe not a fashion showcase, But you know that feeling of being told you're too much, of building something incredible while your own family acts like you're wasting your time, of watching them dismiss you for years and then suddenly want to be proud when other people notice. This channel isn't just about revenge stories. It's about women who stopped shrinking, women who built empires while everyone was busy underestimating them, women who found love with men who chose them first and never looked back. And if that's the energy you're here for, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now, because we drop stories like this. Women like Kendra, women who refuse to apologize for taking up space. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Kendra did the right thing? Would you have set those boundaries with your family, or would you have forgiven them on the spot? And smash that like button if this story hits differently. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.